Dear beautiful spirits, fractals of the divine creation, with the current planetary convergence and related energies, our time now is one of a critical and exciting transition. We are experiencing and have been increasingly for the last few years is a Y in the road. It's our planetary consciousness moving from third to fifth dimension. Evil has had humanity on the brink of our utter demise, and we have seen this playing out like a mad sorcerer's dance. And for many of us as watchers, the frenzy of the absurd is now at its peak. While there feels to be danger, and there is real danger, we are at a great turning and restoration. This is no time for ego, mind, or fear. This is a multi-level psyop and a war between good versus evil like never before. Our part in this shift in the timelines is to stay positive and to acknowledge and energize our unlimited, creative, powerful, sovereign, free will selves. There are three primary things to do right now and for these succeeding days. What we can do to shift the timelines for good is to believe, to truly believe that anything is possible. And we are moving away from the corrupted structures and institutions that have enslaved us for countless generations. Instead, we choose to believe and act out our evolving to a higher level of consciousness. Another is to set our intention for unity consciousness by saying, I am ready for unity consciousness. The third is to stay away from the competing fear, anger, hate mentality by consciously staying within your 0 point balanced positive frequency. And so I repeat, we choose to believe and act out our evolving to a higher level of consciousness. And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
Hi, my name is Ron Vroman. I'm the old man talking head on the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. We're making a recording this evening. I'm on with William. There's several people listening. Charlie's already given the prayer. William, your hair looks darling. So, what we were going to discuss is all that we've got going on. William and I talked about it this afternoon when he was out lazing around on the Columbia River at his daughter's place. Beautiful picture. But in any case, the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly formed a civilian court of record, and we notified all the likely suspects on Oregon. Then we told them we were going to do a grand jury, and we did. So we had a grand jury, and the grand jury provided presentments from the grand jury to four prosecutors: Ellen, Paige, Kevin, and Nick. And those four prosecutors are the Attorney General, two district attorneys from Marion County and Washington County, and one JAG officer for the National Guard. But in that, we also charged both the district attorneys with contacting every member of the District Attorneys Association. So there's got to be 36 of them. So we need to contact 34 more just in case they didn't contact them. So that'll take care of contacting that first round. But then there's also the second round coming up. And each one of those four prosecutors has four cases against Kate, Ron, Jeff, and Suzanne to deal with. Oh, I got a whiny dog here. So, anyhow, that takes care of the first round of the four accused. So that's 36 and 2, 38 prosecutors we have to deal with. So then the next one is we're coming up on them receiving the same thing for 90. So each one of those 4 prosecutors is receiving another batch of 90 cases to prosecute. So now we have 90 cases to prosecute spread among 38 prosecutors, spread over 36 counties. So now when you talk, I think graph, William thinks spreadsheet, but we've got over on one side or on the top, we have Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, and we've got to have coming out of there at least 38 project managers. That's how many projects we have going. So that's how many project managers we have to have. And no billet can go untended. So that means among everybody that we can get, we have to accept the challenge on your own county for sure. And then we have to set up liaison or liaison with all 38 of those prosecutors in all 94 cases that we have filed into those de facto prosecutions. Does everybody gather that in? Is there any confusion?
No.
Okay, good. So then
I'm confused.
tell me.
So back up 2 steps to where we had the 4 people and now we have all the rest that we have to go to.
Okay, we have 4 accused. There's 4 accused, and we gave those 4 accused to 4 prosecutors. But those 4 prosecutors are members of associations of prosecutors and were charged with contacting all of their brethren in their DA prosecutors club. So that means that we have to make contact with all of those DAs, all of those prosecutors, and make sure they actually got the notification from Paige and Kevin. And if they didn't, then we have to go back and file charges against Paige and Kevin for not doing their job. So we have 38 prosecutors and 4 cases with each prosecutor. So 38 times 4 was 140, something like that. That's how many cases we have on the first go around. So
152.
what?
152. 38 times 4.
Yeah.
152.
Okay. So we have to spread that across our deputy court clerks. So we have to figure out how to do that. We have to do that pretty soon. We don't have to pick up all the other prosecutors right away, but we have to start making a stab at it. And we have to have liaison, voice contact, name of the person you're talking to every time you talk to that person. And they have to recognize our court and they have to recognize the docket numbers. If they don't, then we have to recognize them as an additional accused. That's where we're at.
Gotcha. Being
So,
complicit. Okay. Who are the deputy court clerks? Are we all?
no, so far we're not. But the last time we called for this was last Monday. And we called for deputy court clerks, and Cheryl and Jamie, they stood up and said they pretty much want to be. And Cheryl's been after it, and Jamie's missing in action tonight. But we have two, and they each took on one of the four prosecutors. So we have two prosecutors left that we have to have an assigned person to. I want to throw Brandon under the bus because he's in Marion County, and I want to give him the deputy clerk to follow up on Page, because that's the DA in his county. And also, as he's already gone down the path, I'd like him to start contact with Secretary of State, because when we take Kate out, the Secretary of State's going to assume that position. And we have to have at least a good rapport going with her before. And Brandon's the guy I think that ought to do it. So, but he has to accept, but that's my choice. Then we have the close-in ones, Clackamas, Washington, and Multnomah. I yield.
So this sounds like what's going on is we're going to start starting up the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly in every county.
Yeah, we have to. We have to. If we're not in that county, somebody in the next county over has to take it until we get somebody in that county. But there's no bill that can go unfilled.
Sounds like the Old West.
Yes. So, William, can you and Tanya figure out the spreadsheet on that?
Yeah, we'll start doing that. Thought that maybe me, you, and her would get together so that we can start drawing it up on Skype, and you can say yay and nay on where things should go, and we're all on the same page. I don't think we need any more than maybe the three of us to agree on how it gets set up for checking off and making sure that we don't miss anybody.
Sounds good to me. Does anybody have any strategies on what we're going to do? You know, you can call up and say, "Hi, I'm calling about docket number so and so. Did Paige or Kevin contact you as required by our paperwork?" And the answer is going to be yes or no, or who are you, or we don't believe you, or whatever. But whoever's making that call has to wade through it all the way to the end. And when the call ceases, they have to know what the next call is going to be and just keep hammering it.
I see a lot of passing on to the voicemail services, right? And then we'll be sitting there waiting for callback that maybe we'll never get, right? Then of course we'll call back like the next day.
I really think that we should be setting up a phone meeting with them and not asking them a yes or no question, because that gives them opportunity to say yes or no, but rather to ask them, how is the case with docket number going? Put them on the spot, put a little pressure on them. If they say, "Oh, well, we haven't started anything," well, why not? What's your reasoning? This is from a civilian court of order. You need to prosecute this.
Outstanding, Cheryl.
Richard,
Outstanding. Script it out for us. Go ahead, Richard.
Under the Oregon Constitution, at Article 1, Section 46, it says that and this is particularly relevant to those de facto officers like district attorneys who have sworn to support the Oregon Constitution. It says that a district attorney must state whether a victim is properly before the court. And William and I have been working on getting the matter of Brown versus Koenig in front of Schmidt. What's his name?
Richard Drunk.
What is that guy's name? What's his first name? Schmidt. Anyway, so if we ask him
Michael Schmidt,
if Richard is properly before the court, he has to answer one way or the other, and William and I can provide the verdict of the civilian court of record to him, saying she's been found guilty. The verdict is that of guilt, and what are you going to do about it? So he's going to be up against a very unforgiving wall. I yield.
Hey, Ron, this is Allison. I have 2 questions. One, do you need somebody in Lane County? And Susan and I will be glad to tackle Lane County if you do. And 2, because I'm so new, I don't even know who Paige and who every other person was.
Okay.
Paige and Kevin.
Yes, I accept your volunteer for Lane County. You're now the deputy clerk of the civilian court of record, and you have at least 2 docket numbers on your caseload already. Paige is Paige Clarkson, and she's the DA of Marion County. And Kevin Barton is the DA of Washington County. Ellen Rosenblum is the Attorney General, and Cheryl took that one on. I think Jamie was going to help her. And we don't have anybody yet for Nicholas Paulson, who is the JAG officer for the Oregon National Guard. And I was just reading over section 140, and it's penalty for aggravated murder.
Oh.
So I think Richard was talking about a different one. So far, the only thing we got going strong on Article 1 is 14, I believe. Yeah, 14 isn't it either. Oh, that's section 2, Article 14. Yeah. There's so much to know. God.
Amen.
Richard and I were going over the Constitution today, a little light reading, nothing, just a little boring stuff here. And
I've got it in my hand. Yeah.
most of the changes in the Constitution that were not to our benefit are found when you look at it, and down at the bottom it says it was changed in 1986. So you can just bet on Article 2, Section 2, that they really put it to us there. And we have to undo all of those things to roll this thing back to a constitutional republic. But it's going to take a bit of work with these people. And every time they refuse to cooperate, get it in writing, make them acquiesce in writing it in any way you can, because every one of them that denies you due process, we're going to file with the risk management, and it's another $250K for that incident. and we're just doing what the law says. So they either cooperate or they become an accused. And after they're accused, then they become a defendant. And after they're a defendant, then they're going to become a convicted, could be felon. And that's just how it is because that's how the law is written, and we're going to do it exactly lawfully. So, we're going to need a lot of boots on the ground. Without enough boots on the ground, we'll just be able to do like 3 or 4 or 5 counties and in any manner at all, and then bring the rest on stronger and longer later on, unless somebody's got a better
Right.
idea.
One day at a time, right?
Yeah, I yield.
Richard wants to fill in the gaps. In Multnomah County, Michael Schmidt, that's his name, Michael Schmidt, has jurisdiction over the single contact no alarm stalking order, which was the subject of discussion leading to the verdict that Brown is guilty of filing a single contact no alarm stalking order. So there's no other DA more appropriate than Michael Schmidt for hearing that case, for hearing a case for sanctions against her. And that's what William and I are preparing to do. And there is a constitutional provision which creates a requirement that he respond to an inquiry about whether Richard is a valid victim, and clearly, I have been injured in my physical, social, psychological, and financial self.
Yes, we know
your
you're
actions.
injured. Yeah, I agree
Okay.
you're injured.
So,
I got a question for you, though.
okay.
I got a question.
Go
You're
ahead.
totally dealing with the de facto in that case, and the feedback is
Yes.
just horrible.
Okay. Let me.
So why are you dealing with the de facto? They need to come over and deal in the de jure. That's where the case is filed. That's where they have to come over and deal. And they have to recognize the de jure because that's what created them.
I agree.
Good. It
And
sounded to me like you wanted to go over there and battle it out in the de facto.
no, I want the Constitution of Oregon to dictate the duties of those who swore to support it. There are certain aspects, certain sections of the Oregon Constitution which are not appropriate, they're not constitutional, but on the other hand, there are a lot of them that are, and that they've been there since 1859. So I want Michael Schmidt to do his duty and comply with the Constitution and to help the civilian court of record administer the justice to Brown, who has been found guilty. That's all. Doesn't that sound correct?
Sounds like a good strategy to me. Do you want to take Multnomah County?
Yeah, that's what William and I are currently doing.
William, do you agree to co-counsel with Richard on Multnomah County?
Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea to try to get resolution every way we can. First, we have to walk with caution. dealing with their jurisdiction. Just the way it has to be, I guess. Whatever we have to do.
Does anybody have any other ideas? We're going over ideas here, and we need to get as many of them as we can.
I have an idea. I think that, and I want to be the first, that those that are unsure about what they're doing, like me, be able to learn from people or see how it's done, like an intern, like a tag along, like a whatever, with Cheryl and Jamie, with Richard and William, so that we can really get a feel and an understanding of it from the ground up.
And this is Allison, and I second that. And even if we can't tag along, at least a meeting to where we can kind of really nail it down. And like you said before, Ron, almost like a script of what we're going to ask them and talk to them. And then my question is, on this spreadsheet, will we get that spreadsheet and we can just fill it in as we go, so we'll have the information that we can share back with you in the format that you want, or is that something we're doing yet?
It might get to the point where we can allow. We'll definitely be able to have it so that everybody can view the document. I think we need to do, if there's any changes that need to be made to the document, I think it should be a suggestion for the change to the document, and then the controller of the document, the secretary, make the actual change. That way we don't have a whole bunch of different changes and mistakes and things like that. We're at the end of this TV show here, though. If we want to continue it on for an extended version, we can.
Okay, then my other suggestion would be maybe a checklist, at least, of the questions we need to ask, and obviously the answers we need to get. And like Ron said, get it in writing if we can. But just to make sure that us newbies are getting exactly the information that you want and we need. Does that make sense?
William, can I have a shot at that?
Sure.
I'm thinking we should set up a Skype account for every single docket number that we have a case going on. And there's one docket number with us for the 4 that we've already convicted. But then each one of those should also have an entry on Skype, so it could be Kate Brown with that docket number, Ron Wyden with that docket number, and Jeff Merkley and Suzanne Bonamici with that docket number. And whoever has that person and that docket number would go to that Skype account and type in their findings. And if they what is it? If you post something there, it stays for how long? 30 days?
I think it stays indefinitely. I think video recordings only stay there for 30 days. I think text stays there indefinitely. We can do that, or we could do a Google document, different ones for the different parties outside of that graph that you're talking about, spread, so that they can make their notes and we can see their notes, right? You can add things if you want. I'm not sure if we want it on Skype that way, because that's a lot of Skype accounts that really confuse our communication. Trying to find which Skype account it is on the left-hand side.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I got a lot of them already there myself. So
I know.
adding another 100 of them, a lot.
So maybe we need to go someplace and do something else But we're going to
A Google
definitely
Doc that
need
would be good, I think.
what?
A
Yeah,
Google
I think
Doc.
Google Documents would be great because we can all access it and look at it, like you said. So that would be
Yeah.
good.
Anybody
Yeah,
got anything
we can make
against
this
Google
note
Docs?
pages. We just make those note pages so that whoever's working on them has access to make changes on there. Everybody doesn't need to, but whoever's in that county or that who's been assigned to that group can make the changes to those notes. That could be good, I think. I'll talk to Tanya about that.
That sounds like a solution for it. Brandon, I see your mouth moving, but you're muted. Brandon made it home. You're still muted, guy. Yeah, I can see the little thing. The line through the mic went away, but you're still not audio. Richard's feedback is working well.
All right, so
We're gonna move on without Brandon, huh? Yanny. I can't read his lips. Can anybody
maybe
else
exit,
read his?
exit and come back in, Brandon. Maybe that'll fix. Anything more?
Drop it in chat. I just opened chat. Drop it in chat.
Write a note.
Yes.
Carrier pigeon. Technology, right? You got.
Yes. Smoke signals.
Did you see it? He said no on Google. They can take it away.
Oh, is that what he said?
They can take
That's
away.
what Brad.
They can do so many things. Anything that we put on Google Docs has to be backed up on our computer. That's a fact. You cannot leave anything on the cloud and expect it to be there in the future. We put it on the cloud for people to have easy access, but that stuff has to be regularly backed up onto our computers all the time at any point of this. Like I was telling that person earlier today on Skype, we cannot trust any service to be secure. They could promise all the encryption they want, backed by Switzerland, whatever, but we never wrote the software or built the equipment, and they have their fingers on the triggers to do anything they want inside these services. So, if I was the powers that should not be, I would actually create these services and let everybody come in thinking that it was secure, and behind the scenes going neener, I see everything you got, right?
Yep.
Why wouldn't I do that? I have all the freaking money in the world, the USA, Inc. Why would they not do that?
I thought Snowden
So
already proved that they.
Exactly. This is ridiculous. We're trying to secure up something that we'll never have access to. If I write you a note, Ron, and you read it in front of me to yourself, and then I eat it, we have security.
I'm just worried about records. I don't care about security. I would like millions of people to read these records.
Yep,
That's why
right.
I was thinking we needed to have a docket number. And you just go into the docket number and you type whatever message you want to type, or you type it for yourself on your own Word document and you save it as a insert for that day. Then you cut and paste onto the docket
The
number
database.
for the likely suspect. But we'll work that out in pretty short order. It'll become apparent. It's methods, controls, and procedures and systems with feedback to prevent errors. That's
Yep.
all.
Not about hiding anything.
Yep.
I
Should
mean,
work out.
JFK was against secret societies, so let's not be one.
Yeah, good idea. Okay. Well, unless somebody else has something, I'm about ready to put it on chat another time.
Right? Like
Okay,
on
I have a
anybody else?
question. This is Allison.
Go, Allison.
One last question. So when can we expect to get some of this information to start this process?
10
Such as
minutes.
docket numbers and who's no, seriously?
10 minutes. I'll drop it on you.
Okay, but
I'll
wait a
drop
minute.
it on.
We have to have our checklist. We have to have our checklist of our questions to answer. So did you say we're going to have another meeting?
You haven't even started yet, and you already want a checklist. Are you a Democrat?
No.
Well, how in the hell
Yeah,
can I
well,
figure out the
we-
checklist? Really?
we
How,
should set up
how,
a call. We should set up a call to go over how we'd handle different scenarios, I guess, when calling these people and what the next steps would be. We should probably have a special call just for that.
Yep, I agree.
Excuse me, back to the checklist. Listen, pilots use checklists, surgeons use checklists. That's so that you prevent error. So I just want to make sure we're covering everything we need to cover. That's all.
And I think you're doing a good job of it. You got to hold our feet to the fire because sometimes we just don't do the right thing.
Well,
if we don't say anything
it's
right,
all a
correct?
process, and I get it. So us newbies will help you get there, right?
That's the only
Absolutely.
thing that's
It'll
going to
take
get us
all-
there.
Every single one of us it'll take to get there.
Yes.
Okay, so am I hearing that we're going to have another meeting to actually discuss exactly what we need to talk about, or
Yes.
is this not true?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll try to figure out the next
Perfect.
meeting. Maybe it's tomorrow evening or something.
Excellent. And okay.
I want to hear the end.
Yeah. And why the hell are we using Skype?
Why are we using Skype?
Yes.
Skype works really good. It fulfills our needs really good.
Does it? Okay.
And we have no interest whatsoever in encryption and secrecy. As soon
Right.
as we write a paper where we can bash them over the head, we file it. We
wanna
let
publish
them
it,
know.
yeah.
We want them to be totally aware of everything we're doing because we're coming
I like
for them.
that.
Expect in the mail, right? If they're listening, they'll already know what to expect in the mail in a couple of days.
Yes. I made that offer to a
Transparency,
cop
right.
in the post office and he wouldn't do it. Okay, you guys.
I gave our flyer to 3 police officers today and told them all about us.
Good for
Told
you.
them that
Where were you at?
Good girl.
I told them that they needed to form a union and unite together because we're cleaning up Oregon. And we
We're
need them
coming,
on our
yeah.
side.
Right on. So in this show, Ron, we want everybody to click the like button, subscribe to our TV show. Thanks for watching us. We do this all the time. Come join us.
Thank you, William. Thank you, Charlie, Brandon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Cynthia.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.